Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be reviewing another mock draft after the big free agency moves that happened yesterday, and they're still going on right now. I have it like on ESPN on my phone, like right here. You can't see it, but it's on my phone, and I am currently like seeing if anything happens. This mock draft was posted like 20 minutes ago. Like it's kind of crazy. It was posted 20 minutes ago, and I just like looked for mock drafts I could have reviewed. I spent like the last hour in the morning like reviewing, not hour, that's a little bit crazy, but like 30 minutes trying to surf for something that would make sense to review now. But this makes sense because this is I took a little quick glance at it. It's not the worst mock draft in the world, anyways, but I took a quick glance at it. He has the Romeo Dobbs thing that just happened this morning, and he obviously had everything from yesterday. So today we'll be reviewing 2026 NFL mock draft, how free agency moves, trades are changing first round by Micheal Middlehurst-Schwartz. Let's get to it. First thing to get out of the way, the Raiders take Fernando Mendoza, the easiest pick in the draft, in my opinion. This is like really high upside. I know they just started selling a bunch of people, but you're turning a new leaf, you're building, and with this, I think that this makes a lot of sense for the Raiders, who really need a quarterback one. I mean, it's just really easy. I mean, there's not much else you can say about this. I mean, it really is like you obviously released Geno Smith, like that kind of ensures that this is actually happening. Like this is for sure happening. So if he goes here, I mean, it's really not such a hard concept to understand if you're not new. But if you are new, Fernando Mendoza is really good, and he's just such a great quarterback in Indiana. Let him up to 15-0 season. It's just so easy. It's just so easy, man. I don't know. I think this is such an easy pick. I mean, because Mendoza was so good. He was just so good. He's so smart. Like I don't know. He kind of fits like the Sam Darnold role and the Kubiak system. So maybe you can do that and then get these wide receivers getting better. New York Jets take Arvo Reese out of Ohio State. This is another pretty good pick too as well. I think Arvo Reese just makes too much sense here. It's a 3-4 defense. He'll play in the 4 part of the 3-4 defense because he's taking him for being a like flexible linebacker. So you're taking him for his edge ability, but you're also taking him from playing off ball too, because he did do that a lot in Ohio State. He has a bunch of athleticism. He's really good, and obviously Fernando Mendoza is available here. You take him here, but again, he's not. So taking Arvo Reese here is better in my opinion than David Bailey, because David Bailey has the outfield concern issues, and he doesn't really have that much of a surefire ability of being a 3-down lineman. Arvo Reese, I think, has a little bit more surefire ability, and being a really good prospect, he can definitely be a full-time edge if you need him to be. He's not going to be like Abdul Carr or Micah Parsons, which is my other kisters or people are comparing him to. I don't think so at all, because Micah Parsons was played full-time in edge. Abdul Carr played full-time in edge too, and yeah, I think that just Arvo Reese makes a little more sense playing the off-ball role, but with the edge threat ability, like 50-50 like he did in Ohio State. Honestly, you're not taking him for his off-ball ability, but you're taking him for his defensive end ability, so that's why he has DE. So primarily you're taking him for that, but you can also play him off-ball, which is very good, and he has a crazy he was a crazy big standout in Ohio State and was really good. And I know people really like Ruben Bain Jr. I've had Ruben Bain falling in my draft boards a lot, not because of his talent, it's just because of his arms, and that really is just going to drop multiple areas. So there's going to be a lot of moving parts there. I think teams will have to, again, they'll have to see what they think, but I won't point to be like, okay, yeah, like this guy might not be the worst option to take here at number 2. The Cardinals have signed, not signed, they've signed people in free agency, obviously, but they've picked David Bailey in this mock draft, so that's going to be an interesting area to think. I think Francis Mariano makes a little more sense because you're probably going to play him at tackle, and this team right now hasn't signed a tackle yet, and Isaac Salamanca is an older guy too, so regardless, you're going to need offensive line depth, and you already have these type of guys, and this edge class is deeper than this offensive tackle class. Like the drop-off is way more for this offensive tackle class than it is for this edge class, so I think that makes a little more sense for them to go a tackle here in Francis Mariano, but I definitely can see David Bailey going. I know David Bailey has these elite speed traits and not great bend for his size or his speed, but he does have this decent bag, pass rush bag, and pretty good hand placement. It's just he just zooms by you, but he just doesn't have the ability to be a 3-down lineman yet. But he definitely can be a 3-down lineman. He just doesn't, like, he isn't there yet now. But you're taking him for his defensive end ability, and you know, edges are just super highly ranked. They're like in the tier 2, tier 3 type positions. It's like quarterback, then like offensive tackles, and then edges in the tier 2 / tier 3 area. Like that's just how important it is. So sometimes you gotta like not reach. I wouldn't say David Bailey is a crazy reach. It's in my opinion, it's a reach. I think I more have him as a top 10 type of player, maybe top 15. I think David Bailey is a little more of a reach than some of these other guys. So I think Mino makes a little more sense. Titans take Jeremiah Love. I've been navigating towards this pick. I've seen a lot of people navigate towards this pick as well. I think this would honestly fit perfectly for this team. This team would love another running back outside of Tully Potter, and he would actually be pretty good. And then Tyjae Spears can also alleviate some bell cowness if you need him to. But I think Brian Daboll has used Saquon Barkley for 1 year, and when he did, he had the best year of his coaching career. And I feel like Brian Daboll can use him similar to he did with Daniel Jones. I know Cam Ward has so much more potential than Daniel Jones. I love Daniel Jones to death, but Cam Ward has so much more potential, and you can use him, Cam Ward, with Jeremiah Love in a kind of a Saquon Barkley role, who's just so great at vision and pass catching. I like Saquon Barkley more as a prospect coming out of Penn State as a Giants fan, but at one point you have to realize, okay, like Jeremiah Love is just is pretty good. He's really explosive, one-cut threat ability. He can take it to the house if you really need him to. Like that's the things you need in a running back if you're taking him this highly, and that's what you're gonna get. Like, this guy's super good. He has surefire hands. Like, I don't know. I think he's overall sound prospect. The only reason why he's falling in a lot of people's words is because, again, he's a running back. So I think he definitely goes here. I would love Jeremiah Love to go to the Titans because Brian Daboll will use him similar to that Saquon Barkley role. Giants take Sonny Styles. After adding Tremaine Edmonds and all these guys, I could maybe see wide receiver going here too. And then they also just re-signed Micah McFadden, who was a free agent, who they just re-signed, who did have concerns with his injuries because he just broke his ankle in the first couple plays of the season, and that really messed him up. But I don't know if it was a break actually, but he was down for the rest of the season. So take that what you will. But they cut out Bobby Okereke, so that's going to be a big part too. But they did add Tremaine Edmonds, so that's it's a lot of moving parts. I think Styles would be the pick here because I don't think Downs would be worth it, and maybe a wide receiver because they lost Wan'Dale Robinson. And they did just sign Greg Newsome, who will probably be playing that corner one, maybe a depth corner, because I think Adebo, I don't know, I think Newsome will play over Banks. I don't know, I just think Banks is just it's just terrible. He's fucking ass. So you're probably going to need Newsome playing that corner two, probably that Cordell Flott role because they just lost him, because it would be that number 2 guy across from Adebo, and then obviously Drew Phillips playing that nickel. So there's going to be a lot of different areas to look at this team. I think that taking wide receiver here with losing Wan'Dale Robinson in that wide receiving core is Malik Neighbors. Perfect. That's your number 1. Then you have the drop off is crazy. Then it's Darius Slayton / Isaiah Hodgins as that 2 and 3. You're going to need either signing a receiver, maybe Tyreek Hill, maybe, I don't know who else is available right now. Like Evans is gone. Like you don't like. There's not much. Otherwise, you're gonna have to take a running back or a receiver in the second round. I know there's been trades for a BTJ, so maybe you wait on Carl if you end up getting PTJ. But at the same time, like you're gonna have to pay Neighbors, BTJ, and then the next year you're gonna have to pay Dart. And Dart and Scat. I don't know if Scat will make it back. Definitely Dart. And that's gonna be a real issue because you're gonna have to pay your 3 franchise guys, and then that kind of loses all of that value later on. Which, like, I don't know, it makes sense. And then you're gonna have to pay Dex and Burns, and then obviously Carter too. You have to pay Carter. It gets a lot of interesting areas to move. I know the salary cap is going up and up and up and up and up and up and up, but there's a lot of interesting areas there. So maybe hold off of BTJ and take Carl Tate here for another extra year of a player who seemed to produce in college. But Sonny Styles would be a great pick too because Sonny Styles blew it out of the water in the combine. So I mean, I've had my praises about Sonny Styles. I mean, I don't think you guys can hear it a million times, but it's just like there gets to a point where there's like a blue chip player, and this guy, I think in my opinion, I think he's a generational player. There's not many generational players in the draft class. I think Sonny Styles is generational, and the only reason why is because he just learns, and I think this isn't even his full potential. I think he's maybe at 50, maybe 60% of his full potential. I think he can 100% blossom into a stud in the NFL, and that's what I'm so high on him. The Browns take Monroe Freeling. I've had this a lot mocked as well. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he says surprised. Fuck no, I'm not surprised. This guy's a stud. Monroe Freeling's a stud. You're gonna play him as his offensive tackle role. They haven't really signed anybody. I'm gonna see who they've gone for. But it's not been anybody like crazy. I don't know why I just Control F, but yeah, so they did sign Zion Young, or sorry, Zion Young. I think it's a basketball player. Zion Johnson. That was an egregious overpay. I know you need depth anyways, but that's an egregious overpay. Tyus Howard will probably be playing right tackle. Jenkins will probably be playing offensive guard. So there's that, and then you obviously signed Quincy Williams, but you could definitely see going a wide receiver, or you can see going Marlon Fling, which what he has, and Marlon Fling playing that left side, and then you just need a center, which you can sign in the later rounds or later down in free agency. I like this a lot pick too, because this team was losing a bunch of offensive linemen, so this is not the worst idea in the world. The Commanders take Ruben Bain Jr. out of Miami. Another pretty good deal. I think that the Commanders did, again, overpay for Odafe Owe. I think that was a egregious overpay for someone who really didn't produce under anybody but Jesse Minter. So that's going to be a real issue if that doesn't work out. So you get your another edge ability offside and help Odafe Owe produce with Ruben Bain Jr., who's another great team. And honestly, this isn't about a defensive line. It's just, let's just see if Odafe Owe eventually produces. But in this scenario, he does, and across from Ruben Bain Jr. would be an amazing defensive line for that team. The New Orleans Saints take Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. I can definitely see that too. I think, again, I think Chris Olave will still be wide receiver one, but Carnell Tate will be a really good upside wide receiver too, and it would be great for this Tyler Shuck window. I feel like they've been maximizing Tyler Shuck's rookie window so far. So you look at the Saints right now. They signed Travis Etienne Jr., who that's going to be pretty good for this team. Travis Etienne Jr. grew up from the Louisiana area. I think he went to LSU. No, he went to Clemson. Sorry, my bad. He went to Clemson, but he did go to he did live in Louisiana for a little bit, and he wants to be close to his family. That's why he signed this deal. So there's concerns with they're definitely not taking Jeremiah Love anymore, but they're might move on from Alvin Kamara. Regardless, you get your running back one, so that's really good. Noah Fant too. A really good, reliable tight end for them. He wasn't the guy he used to be, but again, it's not a bad signing. David Edwards won't be a bad depth guy for them. Yeah, and he'll probably start too if you need him to. And Blackman isn't a bad idea to keep him around too. This team with Carnell Tate would have a core of Alvin Kamara, Travis Etienne Jr., Chris Olave, Carnell Tate, and Noah Fant. And that's a pretty good core. I know that they're losing Cam Jordan, I know they're losing Demario Davis, but at the same time, right, like, you have these young guys. You're kind of maximizing Tyler Shuck's cheap contract. I know he's 26. I'm not going to really say his young window. He's probably entering his prime right now. But his cheap contract and his rookie year deal. So why not take that? Like, I think this is a really good, like, kind of win now kind of move, but also maximizing the youth as well. Because this team is in a weak division. And this division is kind of up for grabs. It's not like the AFC West or the NFC West where these teams are juggernauts. And this team can really, really start building towards a real big playoff push. The Chiefs take Micheal Lemon out of USC. I think this is a little bit more a redundant pick. I think if Mansour's available, you take Mansour. But with Micheal Lemon, this is a interesting area to think about because this kind of seems eerily similar to the receivers they already have, which is these smaller receiver type guys, which I can see that too. But with Jalen Watson, going to LA with McDuffie, I forgot that even happened. Kind of slipped my mind. You kind of need a corner here, and I think Mansour would work a little bit better. Lemon is gonna be a good area for this team, but at one point you have to realize, like, okay, maybe Spags like these smaller type corners, and I think he will work better with Mansour than someone else would work with Micheal Lemon. Like, I don't know, I just think that makes a little more sense for me to go Mansour here, especially with a deeper wide receiver class than it is a decently deep wide receiver class than it is a corner class. So I think that makes a little more sense for this team. This team needs a little more help on the secondary. Bengals take Ohio State, Caleb Downs. I think they just signed Cook. Let me see, but they did sign a safety, and I definitely think that's not going to stop them from drafting Caleb Downs because you can play one on the other and one on the other. Yeah, so Brian Cook signed a 3-year, $4.25 million deal. Crazy. So yeah, that's going to be your kind of guy. You also signed Boye Mafe, Dalton Reisner, and Jalen Davis. So there's a lot of moving parts, but Caleb Downs does have a degenerative ACL. I don't really think that makes that big of a deal. Just go for it, bro. I mean, honestly, I think that I have him as my number one ranked player in this class because he's just so good. There's so much upside, and there's also a lot of surefire ability. I think it's a really low floor as well, or a really high floor as well. So it's not gonna be the worst idea in the world to take him here. Miami Dolphins take Francis Mainoa. I think that makes sense a lot too. You lost some guys as well, but at the same time, oh god. Yeah, so you signed Malik Willis, you signed Greg Dulcich, we signed Greg Dulcich and Zane Gonzalez. Greg Dulcich is New York Giants practice squad legend. Malik Willis, it's interesting to talk about because Malik Willis did have a great year in Green Bay when Jordan Love eventually went down, which is not bad. And then you can play Francis Mainoa at this offensive tackle / guard spot, which they do have a big vacancy for, protecting protecting Malik Willis, kind of investing into your long-term future. I think Malik Willis will be kind of a tank-ish move right now because I think Malik Willis won't really have the success people think he will. I think he will not lead him to the playoffs, but he won't he'll be okay to the point where you can maybe take a great quarterback in the next year's class, even if you have a mid to late pick. Even if you have a pick 14 where you're just missing the playoffs but you're not really competitive, you're gonna take someone like DJ Lagway, or I don't know, someone else like Sam Levitt or some of those other guys, and that would be pretty good for this team to develop a quarterback, because Malik Willis did sign a 3-year deal, so you have him for 3 years, and worst case you bench him on his last year. And in these 2 years, you either this year will be a bridge quarterback, next year he will be a mentor, and then later he will be like a kind of like a pass off where you pass him off to the new quarterback. So that's gonna be pretty good, and I think Jeff Hafley would like to run a similar scheme to Malik Willis. So maybe Malik Willis is your your quarterback long term, but worst case you just pass him off and he'll be a mentor quarterback to the next one. Not the worst study in the world, and you take Francis Mano to protect him. Cowboys take Mansour Delane. I think I've seen rumors where if Mansour falls to the Cowboys, they're taking him. No questions asked, no ifs and or buts. And this team would need a corner too, because I don't think they've signed anybody in free agency for a corner. So this is a big need. And they did spend a lot on George Pickens, franchise tag Javonte Williams, Rashawn Gary, and Sam Williams as well. This team needs an edge as well, but I think taking a corner here because they did not sign anybody would be the smart decision to do this year. Not the worst thing in the world, especially with signing 2 safeties. I could say Dylan Thiemann is in play right now, but you did sign 2 different safeties, so I think that's kind of doubling down too much. And I think that if Dylan Thiemann falls, you can maybe take him and consider that's a conversation to have at 20. But in this scenario, he doesn't, and in this scenario, they don't take him. Take the corner who's fallen. Not the worst thing in the world. The Rams take Kenyon Sadiq. I think this is a pretty good pick too, because Kenyon did test freakishly well at the combine. And this team, if you look at this team, they did re-sign Tyler Higbee, but at the same time, you're not going to invest long term into Tyler Higbee, right? So it is Cam Curl and Jalen Watson. So I think, and obviously got McDuffie. I think that, and tackle, they've addressed all their needs that I have them addressing in the drafts. So honestly, they can just take the luxury pick, either Jordan Tyson or Kenyon Sadiq, which would make so much more sense, because this team literally addressed everything: offensive tackle, cornerback, and safety. Safety, Cam Crow, they excited. Jalen Watson, McDuffie, they just got the 2 Chiefs guys, and obviously Quisenberry re-signed, and you're probably gonna hopefully play him at tackle, or you play tackle later. Not the worst thing in the world. Then you have Tyler Higbee, and if the step chart for the Rams, they don't have a real, they have some of these tight end guys, but I think Kenyon Sadiq will immediately step in and be the number 1 guy, and you can maybe play him outside with. It's gonna be a good weapon for Matthew Stafford, who already just came off an MVP. Why not add more to the offense? And I can 100% see that too. I can 100% see them going Jordan Tyson because he's available right now. I think that would make a lot of sense as well. But taking Kenyon Sadiq here too, who can kind of play that outside role too if you really need him to, but also the tight end flexibility as well, would be really good for this team that really wants this. That really wants this to maximize the Super Bowl window, and it makes so much more sense for this team. The Raiders take Vega Ione out of Penn State. I've been kind of iffy on this pick because I think they've just signed Linderbaum, so there's no real need. I don't know. I just didn't think this makes that much sense. Jalen Naylor, so you get your wide receiver. You signed Tyler Linderbaum, center. And then you probably move JPJ back to guard because he was playing guard. Or sorry, back to probably keeping my guard. Yeah, you have Colton Miller playing left tackle, Dylan Parham. So JPJ will probably be playing right guard, Linderbaum will be playing center, and then you take Dylan Parham here. I don't know. I just don't think that makes so much more sense for this team, because I feel like this team has had the needs, and they just spent so much money on this roster that taking Vega Ione wouldn't really make that much sense to me, because you already have Dylan Parham here, and I don't know. I just think that makes a little more sense. This team has bigger needs on the other side of the ball, in the defensive side of the ball. I know they signed Quay Walker, but I would like a nose tackle here. Maybe take defensive tackle, either Kaden McDonald or Caleb Banks. Or Peter Woods. That makes a little more sense to me. Or I know you re-signed Eric Stokes, but I would like another corner outside of Darian Porter. I don't know. I just think that makes a little more sense for this team. Or maybe a linebacker to eventually get rid of Quay Walker, because I know you just got him, but at the same time, maybe you go younger as well later on. So that makes a little more sense to me, but it is what it is. The Bucks take Keldrick Folk. The Bucks don't usually go for this type of pick. I don't really like this pick at all. I think that this would be a bad pick for them because they don't historically go with this. They go with the faster type guys. So they go with Cash Sal. I could literally see Cash Sal going before Keldrick Folk, just solely because the Bucks love these fast ass rushes. So I don't think so. I don't think Cash Sal was a first round player, but I do think Keldrick Folk can be a first round player if you develop him correctly. He relies a lot about his athleticism, but he has a high floor as a runner. So there's a lot of interesting moving parts there. But yeah, I don't think it's the worst area in the world to take. But yeah, the Jets take Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. There's another interesting area too. I think the Jets just got Geno Smith like a couple hours before I started recording. They just got Geno Smith. Francis Brees Hall. And they don't really have a wide receiver, and I think they needed a wide receiver here. So addressing in the draft is not the worst idea in the world. They did lose Quincy Williams, but taking Demario Davis here is the worst idea. And then they get some edge pieces on the defensive line with Devondre Sweat, David Arimata, Joseph Asai, and Kingsley Inagbar. So not the worst idea in the world, but Demario Davis will have some. They're like literally going on. Dame Belton's another like safety free, like another guy who I can see being a depth piece for this team. And Minkah Fitzpatrick, obviously the easiest. Honestly, people don't really like this Minkah Fitzpatrick trade. I'm not the biggest hater of this. I know the players haven't been as good, but again, like Minkah Fitzpatrick, for how bad the secondary's been, who's going to be replacing Andre Cisco, it's not the worst idea in the world. And taking him here is not a bad idea. And then taking Jordan Tyson here, contrast to Adonai Mitchell and Garrett Wilson, was not the worst idea in the world for Geno Smith eventually being that guy. I would have liked Kyler Murray because I think Kyler Murray is still on the market as of right now. I'm available. I haven't gotten anything. Let me check. But I don't think this makes any sense for the Jets to go Geno Smith. But regardless, this is a mock draft, so we're going to talk about the mock draft. So yeah, Jets go Arizona State's Jordan Tyson, not the worst idea in the world. Lions go Spencer Fano, who play guard or tackle. I can see this happening too. They signed Mays. I got my things mixed up. Mays and Pacheco, Borum and Juice Scruggs. It's some good depth, but I would like a true guard for the future, or maybe a tackle. Fano has short arms, so I have him more as a guard than a tackle, but you can definitely develop him into that guy. It's honestly a pretty simple pick, not the worst idea in the world. The Vikings take Dylan Thielen. This is another easy pick. The Vikings did just sign did not sign anybody but James Pierre and Eric Wilson to deals. So I think taking Dylan Thielen here, who really you have a glaring hole at safety if you need it, especially with Harrison Smith on his way out. Dylan Thielen here is an easy pick. He really rose from my combine. I think if he falls to 18, just pick him up. Like there's just no way the Vikings don't pick him up here. Panthers take Caden Proctor, offensive tackle out of Alabama. This is a interesting area to think. I think Caden Proctor is too raw for this team. I think this team would like someone else because the Panthers did sign Kenny Pickett. That's a guy to develop, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, so they didn't take a guard or a tackle, and you do have Iquanu out for a hot minute. I think it's like a leg or a knee thing, so he's going to be out for majority of the season, and that's going to be a real problem. But yeah, you did just address some of these other guys in the linebacker and Jalen Phillips, and Devin Lloyd, Jalen Phillips. That's good, and you need an offensive tackle. So I think taking Caden Proctor is not the worst idea in the world. And even if Kenny Sadiq is unavailable, I think Caden Proctor isn't the worst idea in the world. I would like a more surefiable pick here. Maybe I think I would prefer Blake Miller over Caden Proctor, or even Caleb Lomu, who can play that guard and swing tackle role better than Caden Proctor, who's had problems with tackle. So there's a lot of interesting areas here, but Caden Proctor here fits the team need for this team. The Cowboys take Akeem Messidor. The Cowboys did have a pretty good thing, pretty good free agency. I don't know why people are like harping on them. I think it's fine. I think next to Rashawn Gary, he wouldn't be a bad area to pick from. A little bit of an older prospect, but this Dallas Cowboys team is kind of in a win now mode in a way because Dak Prescott isn't getting younger. This team is a little older too, but the offensive line is really good. And this team, for how their team needs, this draft is really good for this team needs. So not the worst idea in the world to take him here. The Steelers take Caleb Banks out of Florida. Another interesting area. The Steelers did just get Pitts, so I think wide receivers are the question. Because again, you have to pay some of these guys. But it is going to be an interesting area to see where the team. They did sign Rico Dowdle as well. And They did sign Jamel Dean, which is another great steal for them, I think, and Asante Samuel Jr. too, which is a good young guy, not young guy, but a real guy, a real cheap guy you can eventually see be playing a depth corner, if anything else. But it's not the worst idea in the world to take a defensive tackle here. Again, with Cam Hayward getting older, you can eventually develop Caleb Banks into that guy who turns into your next Cam Hayward. And this team doesn't really need a wide receiver anymore because you have your DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman, and you also have your running back of the future with Rico Dowdle, who's signed for a pretty cheap deal anyways. So not the worst idea in the world to take Caleb Banks here. The Chargers take Avion Terrell out of Clemson. Interesting area. They did lose Azan Johnson, but I'm not really worried about that. But they did sign Cole Strange, Tyler Badaz, and Tyler Tart, obviously. That was before. But Khalil Mack, too. There's a lot. They addressed their guard situation kind of well. I would prefer maybe a guard, maybe Chase Pizantis or Mayan Prognon if he falls to this team. But taking Avon Terrell here, who they do have a kind of a need at corner as well, I think this wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to take him here. Eagles take Cassius Howell out of Texas A&M. They did lose Jalen Phillips, so that's going to be a interesting area to talk about. And they didn't really do much this year with only contract extension to Jordan Davis. So it would need an edge rusher. This team lacks edge rushers a lot. I would prefer someone else other than Cassius Howell. I think for the value right now, TJ Parker would be perfect for this team because he kind of fits that mold of playing a 3-down lineman as well as being a really prolific pass rusher. So I feel like that works a little bit better for this team that really doesn't have any pass rushing edge. This Cassius Howell seems like kind of a DPR, and with someone with that short of arms, you don't see him going drafted this high like ever. Like this, I don't think anyone's been drafted with like 30-inch arms in a hot minute, and that's gonna be a real issue for whoever takes him because teams really value these arm lengths. This team has a little more needs too. I think corners definitely in play as well. Maybe take Colton Hood or Cisse, but I don't know. I just think that taking a guy who has sub 30 or 30-inch arms, like it gets a little concerning, and I think I would prefer another edge rusher over this, or even another position group over this. Browns take Denzel Boston. They honestly need another wide receiver as well. Tom Monken loves his wide receivers, and he's an offensive guy. So, honestly, this wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. I would prefer them to take a wide receiver here. I would prefer Omar Cooper Jr. or Casey Concepcion because I think that gets a little do-it-all type of role. So he doesn't Denzel Boston's more of going to be playing the X primarily, but this team kind of needs a little more versatility on the outside, so I think that taking someone else would be a little bit better for this team. But again, you get your dominant wide receiver one for your quarterback of the future, so not the worst idea in the world. The Bears take Peter Woods out of Clemson, another pretty good pick too. I know they let go of Tramel Edmonds, so they're probably going to take a linebacker class, but this linebacker is very deep. This linebacker class is very deep, and they did sign Kobe Bryant, so their safety area is kind of fine for now. And they did sign Khalif Raymond, which is fine. Garrett Bradbury and Braxton Jones is not the worst idea in the world. But did sign Devin Bush as well, DeMarco Johnson. I think Devin Bush did have some bad years in Steel City, but it's not the worst idea to take him here. I wouldn't hate this pick at all for them if they ended up going a defensive tackle, which they didn't really address that well. They did take Gallimore, but I think taking Peter Woods here with more upside and a lot more better upside as well from Gallimore would make a lot more sense, and it would be a pretty good run stopping issue for this team that has a big run stopping issue. So it wouldn't be the worst idea to plug up that hole. And people have known my thoughts on Peter Woods. I think he is going to be great in the NFL because the main reason is because this team continues to sign like people like Kobe Bryant, like an elite defensive talent. Like people will start a game plan around other people as well. Peter Woods will come out of nowhere and he'll start producing a lot more. And I know first round pick is gonna come out of nowhere, right? Because he's picked in the first round. But at the same time, right, like you're gonna think like of him as a rookie, right? Obviously he had his good years at Clemson, but people are gonna think of him, oh, he had a down year. Maybe you don't have to worry about him as much. He's gonna come out, and I think he's gonna be really good for this team. So I wouldn't really hate that pick at all. The Bills take TJ Parker out of Clemson. I wouldn't hate this pick at all either because I think this team needs a defensive defensive edge, and they didn't really address that at all, like literally at all. Instead, they addressed the quarterback room because Josh Allen is not a quarterback. I know, obviously, you need a backup quarterback, obviously, but I'm just making a joke, okay? Don't let it fly over your head. But Not the worst idea in the world to take a corner here. They did sign Franklin to a 3-year. So it's not the worst idea to get an edge, which they didn't really address, and they're letting Joey Bosa go. So not the worst idea in the world. And they did take a wide receiver with DJ Moore. So that's going to be your wide receiver one. You're probably going to build off of him for at least the next 2 years. So I think that makes a little more sense for the Bills to go a edge here. I think that I'll probably start leaning towards there a little more. The 49ers take Caleb Lomu, who will probably be playing tackle later on, but I think he can play guard immediately in the NFL and then eventually develop under Trent Williams to become a tackle. I would not hate that idea at all. Maybe a swing tackle if needed. Wouldn't hate that idea at all. The 49ers don't take the flashy pick. They'll take the easy pick. Texans take Maxi Inacho out of Arizona State. Another interesting pick because they did trade away Tyus Howard, so it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. I think the Texans would actually like taking him here. And this team did get David Montgomery and did sign some of these offensive tackles, offensive guards. I think taking your guy here to take to get your offensive tackle of the future is not the worst thing in the world. He's a physical beast. He didn't play a lot of football when he was younger, but he really he just has the frame and the strength for it. So I think he'll be a really, really good pick for this team. Rams take Jamal McCoy. Again, they need corners, so it's not, if you're not taking Delane, you're taking McCoy later, or someone like Hood or Cisse later. So it's not the worst idea in the world to take McCoy here. And worst case, he doesn't perform, and you just waste your picks from Trent McDuffie, which is fine, I guess. But I don't think he will fail that much. It's just the problem is his injury concern. So I think his floor, honestly, is a backup corner. I think he won't be terrible because he was just super locked down in Tennessee before he got injured. So I think this is a really sensible pick for the Chiefs. The Broncos take Omar Cooper Jr. I think this is another pretty good pick too. I think the Broncos, they didn't have the greatest free agency because they just re-signed a bunch of people, and I don't think linebackers on the table anymore with Singleton returning, and running back isn't there either. I don't think they will reach on price with Jacob Dobbins re-signing as well. It's kind of I've seen people they haven't added anyone new. They just re-signed a bunch of people, and that's fine, I guess. But I understand running back, but I don't know. I just think that you can probably sign a little bit better people. I think I would prefer a linebacker maybe because Alex Singleton. I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of him, but taking Omar Cooper Jr., who you needed wide receiver one, I think Omar Cooper Jr. can provide that wide receiver one aspect, and also provide a bunch of versatility. So it's not the worst idea in the world to take him here. The Patriots take Casey Conception out of Texas A&M. I wouldn't hate that pick at all either. They did sign Romeo Doubs, as he has said, but I think you need another wide receiver here with Diggs gone, and they didn't really address that much, other than obviously Romeo Doubs. But I wouldn't hate this at all. They just signed Romeo Doubs and did sign Vera Tucker, who will be playing guard. So I think more likely or not, there would be wide receiver or linebacker in this draft class. And you can maybe see Jacob Rodriguez at 31. I wouldn't find that a reach at all. I think that's a fucking great pick if you take him there. Or you take Casey Conception, who I also think is a great pick if you take him there as well. It's just the problem is his hands. But again, at the same time, you're going to play him for his versatility. He would be really, really good for Drake May and this team. Seahawks take Colton Hood. They did lose. I could definitely see Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. They did lose Kobe Bryant. And they did re-sign Joshua Jobe, which is a really good re-signing. I think Joshua Jobe will be really good for that nickel team, or nickel aspect. It'll be really good for that team. I think Rashid Shaheed is also another really good signing, so I think wide receivers out of the equation for them too. So I think taking a corner or a secondary here, Emmanuel Warren would work a lot, being that Kobe Bryant replacement. But also you can see taking taking Colton Hood as well, because you need a corner because they haven't brought in Reek Wallen yet. So it just depends what corner or safety they bring in later. But as of right now, I wouldn't mind Colton Hood at all. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think of this mock draft. I will let you guys know what I think of the free agency once it's done, and we'll be making some more videos. Stay tuned for mock draft Monday. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next one.